Hello everyone, this is my 7-round NFL mock draft for the Washington Redskins using PFF Simulator. Just one quick thing before we begin. I'm very new to YouTube. As you can see, I've only been putting up videos for less than a week now, and so any comment or advice or any help that you could give me, I would be over the moon if that were to be done, and really would appreciate that. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the actual picks that I had for the Redskins. Now, the theme and the idea that I had in mind for Washington in this particular draft is that I really wanted to rebuild and replenish the cupboard here. The roster, I don't think, is in terrible disrepair. It's actually decent in a couple of spots. Washington has hit on a couple of draft picks in recent years, and it's not really or I wouldn't say it's as terrible as their record was last year. So I really wanted to try and take best player available, and take, or sorry, I just really wanted to replenish the roster and get really good players that I felt really confident about. So with the number 5 selection, Jeffrey Okudah, cornerback, Ohio State University. Now I'll get to the trade at the end after I've talked about all the prospects. You can skip there if you're more interested in that aspect of this. What can I say about Okudah? Well, he's just the goddamn best. Well, sorry, I guess I shouldn't be swearing like that. He's the friggin' best cornerback in this draft, and he might be the best cornerback prospect in the past 2 or 3 years as well. He's got the best wingspan of all the cornerbacks in this draft. Just look at his tape against like Jalen Reagor from 2 years ago. Look at what he did against T. Higgins this past year. This guy locks players up and he clamps down on them and they don't get away. They only get maybe a couple of receptions a game and for very little yardage. He is just a stud cornerback, and that's going to just improve the quality of the Redskins team tremendously. Moving on, selection 26, it's Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, Louisiana State University, LSU. What I love about Jefferson is that he's got fantastic speed and really amazing hands. So he can threaten the middle of the field really well, really stress out the linebackers and safeties that have to cover him, and put a lot of pressure on that middle of the field that's so crucial to control for the offense and defense. Another thing that's really great about him is that you hear a lot of analysts and a lot of scouts rave about this guy's character and this guy's mentality. You hear people like Daniel Jeremiah just think the world of this guy. So I'm not able to get any sort of background information on any of these guys. So I have to rely on what media types like Daniel Jeremiah and all the other wonderful guys out there and ladies out there. And I have to rely on them to try and get bits and pieces here. And when I hear something like that about a prospect, that just moves them up a little bit. And then I just really, really feel confident with that player. Moving along, selection 39, it's Antoine Winfield Jr., safety, University of Minnesota. What I love most about this guy is that he's in the right place at the right time. He's super fast. He's super instinctual. And all you do is see him making plays all over that defense. He played for the University of Minnesota, which is not, the biggest name school in the world. But all he did was really he just made play after play after play. He comes down like a ton of bricks, makes amazing tackles, gets there in coverage, sideline to sideline. He does it all, and I think teams are sleeping on him a little bit. After his combine, his stock did rise because people finally got to see firsthand his amazing athleticism that I don't know what people are doing when they watch this guy's tape, but you could see that on his tape, but people weren't talking about it. But then after the combine and him running a 4.45 40, and along with measuring out really well in a couple other of the tests, people all of a sudden started talking about him. It's like, were you not watching the tape to begin with? Did you not see this in the first place? But anyway, that's a rant for another day. So he's a guy that I just, Del Pitt and Xavier McKinney are the top two rated safeties in this draft. Pretty much there's a solid consensus with that. For my money, Winfield Jr., I could see him becoming better than either of those players. I just really like the guy. The uncertainty and risk with him is his injury history. Before this past year, he was injured for a couple of years, not playing in a ton of games. So, and he is a bit on the smaller side. So you do maybe worry a little bit about that. But beyond that one thing, I feel very confident and safe, and I'd be running up to the podium for this guy. Okay, let's move along here at 66. It's Josh Uche, edge, University of Michigan. I disagree with him being labeled as an edge. He was under the 250 sort of weight limit that you really need to hold your own as an edge rusher in the NFL. So I see him more as an off-ball linebacker. But if the Redskins use him properly, I have no idea if they will. If I was the GM, I'd force him to. But anyway, if they use him properly, if they use him to blitz a ton, if they're blitzing with him on like something like 50% of the downs that he plays, then that's the value that you're going to get with him, because he's an amazing pass rusher and he converts speed to power. He as one of the best prospects in this draft at doing that. He's super athletic. He's already played off-ball linebacker, so he has experience from the University of Michigan in doing so. And you look at his coverage ability, I would consider that above average as well. He gets down the middle of the field really well. He's really fast. I'd say if he ran at the combine, this guy would have been much higher, and there'd be some buzz about this guy, because I think he runs something like 4.5, 4.55, nothing slower than that. Just look at his tape and the way he just zooms and moves. He is fast and super athletic. Okay, anyway, let's finish this up with the last couple of picks. 108, it's Adam Troutman, tight end. I forget the university. I think Dayton. University of Dayton, I believe. Sorry if I'm wrong on that one. 142, Alex Highsmith, edge, Charlotte University, I believe. 162, Shadiq Charles, tackle, LSU. Darnell Mooney, wide receiver, Tulane University. And then finally at 229, J.J. Taylor, running back, University of Arizona. These 5 players, it was all about taking the best player available, the player that I thought brought the most value and fit to the team. Certainly a tight end, because Jordan Reed and the concussions and the fact that he's no longer there. Tight end, the Redskins could use it. Edge, I just really liked Highsmith, and I thought his talent is higher than 142. Sadiq, sorry, I can't say his name very well. Charles, the tackle, he's going to just add some depth, because the Trent Williams situation is still unresolved. And I think before the draft, I have a feeling that he will get traded, because that relationship seems to be unmanageable, or it's too far. The bridges have been burned, and Williams is unfortunately, I don't think, coming back to play for the Redskins, even though he would be tremendous help for a couple of years. Mooney, he's a guy with a lot of speed, and never hurts to take a shot on speed guys. And then J.J. Taylor, Darius Geis has been injured, and Adrian Peterson is, super old. So, J.J. Taylor, he's someone who can catch some passes out of the backfield. He's really small, but he like runs over, he trucks over guys, even with his small stature. So as a late round running back, I don't think it's horrible to go with someone like that at this position. Now, to wrap this up, let's talk about the great trade that I was able to get. I think this is fairly realistic. If the Redskins really reach out to either the Chargers or Miami, or maybe even Carolina, or maybe even having to go back maybe to Oakland, one of those teams I feel confident would like Tua enough to trade up. And then here, I think it's very fair, the compensation on both sides, because similarly, when the Jets moved up a couple of years ago and traded with the Indianapolis Colts, the Colts received the 5th overall selection and then also 3 second-round picks, and I think all of them were really early second-round picks. Here, it's a late first-round pick, an early second-round pick, and a second-round pick next year, moving back from 2 to 5 for Miami to be able to select Tua, a quarterback. So overall, I think this was very close to what's realistic for Washington to expect if they do trade back. If they got anything less than this, anything less than something like 3 second rounders, and all the second rounders have to be fairly early, I wouldn't trade up. I'd actually just take Tua and kind of, maybe not hold him hostage, but try and trade him, or even just keep him, with Haskins, Haskins just played 1 year, so you don't know how he's going to turn out. But anyway, overall, this is one of my favorite drafts of all the 32 teams that I did, because I got the first 4 picks I love, and then the last 5 adds a lot of depth and competition and quality to that Redskins team. If the Washington's able to come away with anything close to what this is, and they're able to trade back from their first selection and still pick up someone like a Kuda, or even like a tackle prospect or a wide receiver prospect, because they move on from Trent Williams, then they're going to be headed in the right direction and be able to challenge the Cowboys for that divisional crown. Okay, well, you have a great day. If you've made it the entire way through, I really appreciate that, and thank you very much. You have yourself a fantastic day.